Yeah, that's the only thing I ever hear. That's like yeah. Yesterday I heard when you were on the phone. I heard it.
What'd you hear?
When you were on the phone, when I called you on the phone, not on WhatsApp. While Rabbi Kessin was talking, I heard the ching chang chong noises. It's not anybody saying ching chang chong. It's just clicks, which I'm assuming is ching chang chong.
That's your adaptation of the chai comms.
Exactly.
So what shall we discuss?
So what'd you think of yesterday's interview? In general.
I thought it was great.
Same.
It's weird, first of all, just kind of layer it. Let's talk about the foundation here. It's weird to actually talk to him.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
I've watched him more, in the past 6-7 years.
Really?
Than I had like most shows or like movies. Like he's a way bigger celebrity to me than like anybody on TV. Like I don't give a damn if I like Tom Cruise or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
I don't give I haven't seen Tom Cruise
Because what do we get from those clowns?
It's not even that. It's just like the person that you watch on TV. Yeah. After a while, you know, it's kind of like holy crap. He actually,
he exists. He's real.
He's talking to me. He's looking at me.
Did I ever tell you the story of how I actually, started watching him and then got in contact with him? Did I tell you that story?
No, I'd love to hear that.
So basically, he has obviously, he has a twin brother, Shimon. And
yes.
And Shimon, it's actually funny because so I'll tell you the story and then I'll tell you about Shimon. So somebody put up, it was Tisha B'Av 2013, summer, and I was in Israel. I was in Jerusalem. And somebody put up, like a Tisha B'Av shir that Shimon gave in Ramat Bet Shemesh. It's a bunch of Americans, whatever it is. And he was the one from whom I first heard about this whole Yakut Shimoni thing, with the Saudi Arabia, Iran, that whole thing, the Midrash. And so I was
I heard about it, that's big. The Rebbe talks about it all the time. That's right. But go ahead.
So I never heard about it before then. I found it fascinating. I was like, wow, this is like spot on, And at the time I was writing a lot. This is when Times of Israel first started. The website before they went full blown lefty. At that time they only had the virus that causes leftism, not full blown lefty.
Yeah.
And I still have my blog there. I just don't publish it. I don't want to give them money. I don't want them to get ad revenue from my writing. So basically, I was writing a lot about geopolitics, but in connection with Torah. I even had a friend this girl in Neve, who was like, Tzvi, I like your writing, but why don't you need to separate, the Torah from current events, from politics. And I was like, well, that would be the point, is that I was trying to convey to her, I didn't know how to convey to her, I learned the Lashon much later from Rabbi Kessin, from Mendel, that Hashem is a grand chess master. Hashem's the one moving all of this, right? And there's this whole, there's like archetypes, there's Esav, there's Ishmael, all these things. So whatever, I was listening to Shimon actually, and then when I got back to America, I actually saw that one shir, and then I couldn't find it, and I kept asking around, does anybody know where I could find this shir, whatever? And I mentioned his name, and then a friend of mine is like, hey man, if you love Shimon, if you like Shimon, then you're really like Rabbi Mendel, his twin brother. I was like, what? He's got a twin brother, and he's talking about this stuff?
There's two of them.
There's two of them, right? So
this is really lame.
Yeah.
You ever see that movie with Van Damme, Double Impact?
Yes, it's kind of like that.
Remember he had a twin brother?
Yeah.
I'll never forget the Chinese guy.
Yeah.
There was a bad Chinese guy and a bad British guy, right?
That's
the
funny.
two villains.
Yeah.
And then the Chinese guy sees them together and he goes, "There's two of them."
I like how you went into Van Damme. I guess
because every time I don't know.
It's very holy.
Please continue. Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, so I started watching Rabbi Kessin. This is like, 2015 when Trump started running, and Rabbi Kessin was one of the few people that was saying that, he started talking about this whole Tov Shabesov thing and all these kind of things. And I'm trying to think of where I was going with this. Yeah, no, so I just started listening to him, and I thought it to be just incredible. And what's it called? And then I actually at some point, I will tell you this thing about Shimon and him. At some point, I started connecting myself to there's a Facebook page that somebody started. This is our friend Rachel Robin.
Okay.
And I contacted. I thought it was him. I thought it was Rabbi Kessin. I reached out to the person, to the Facebook page. I got a response from Robin, and basically I just somehow got his number, and I started talking to him, and I ended up interviewing him in Jerusalem. I think it's because I went to one of his shiurim or something like that, and then I ended up interviewing him. This is before 2019 September, and yeah, and I just started like every so often just calling him, and because the thing is, he doesn't have he purposely does not have internet. He doesn't have an email address. He stays off the internet completely. I once asked him, I'm like, how do you get this information to the point where it seems like you're one of these, because the way he talks, he sounds like he's sitting on Twitter all day,
Honestly,
yeah.
It sounds like there's about I would say like about a month and a half to 2 months delay.
There is
some things.
There is. But so that's the thing, because I notice when I talk to him on the phone and I tell him certain things, he'll ask me about Israel or this or that. He's like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Oh yeah."
So I figured out. Out how he gets his information. He just talks to people who have internet.
Yeah, no. He. I asked him once, "How do you get?" He told me that like this. There's one of two ways. He told me, generally speaking, with regards to Israel, for example, he just likes to have a general theme of what's going on. So he reads Yated Ne'eman. You know Yated Ne'eman, this kind of Haredi newspaper circulation in Lakewood.
No, I don't know, but all right.
Yated cool. Ne'eman, yeah, it's a very old newspaper. So he reads that, and then the other way, he just tells me, if Hashem wants me to get some information, it comes to me. It'll come. I know Hashem will send it to me. So he'll send the shliach to give over the information that I need to know. You're right. There is a delay. But in general, he seems to be on top of stuff. Like when you hear him in shiurim, he does seem to be on top of stuff. He's not completely, he's not in the dark. He's just not, we would call on the pulse, because information.
He keeps it very, very general.
He keeps it general. I mean, he does get in. He has specific things. Like he asked me about. That's like I remember on Friday, Erev Shabbos, he asked me about what's new with Russia and Ukraine. Like he knows generally what's going on, but then I told him, the whole thing of like there was this whole thing actually on Friday or Thursday how Zelensky said, Putin said there might be progress, or Putin's people in talks, and then Zelensky said something to basically the opposite. And Rabbi didn't know that, because again, unless you read the news on Friday, you wouldn't know that.
Right.
Some new post or whatever it is.
Here's another possibility.
Yeah.
So, remember we talked about how some of these tzaddikim, right? I think they have the attitude that, God bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
I think they have the attitude that like whatever is in the news generally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Regardless of how or why it got there, even if it's completely like fake, it was still intended to get out to the public, and that gives the rabbis like information which they can interpret.
Correct.
Not because of what it means on face value.
Correct. Or what the media says it means. Yeah.
Right?
Correct. Yeah.
Heaven is communicating that, so they take what's being said and then they chew it over. They probably know that the people who are releasing this are lying.
Yep.
And yet God wants the majority of us to know this.
Yeah. And
otherwise He wouldn't let it out.
For sure.
And so you take that information and see what is God doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it seems like, the way Rabbi is talking, for example, you and I have an interpretation of what's going on with the war, meaning the war is real, generally speaking, right? With some few wag the dog, kind of scenarios in the war, but generally speaking, the war is real. There's 2 million refugees. It's crazy. But at the same time, like the way the way he was talking about it is very, very different than what even you and I would say. You know, he's not thinking from perspective of like World Economic Forum is, trying to remake the monetary.
I didn't even want to bring it up.
I didn't want to bring it up either. I wanted to hear his just hashkafic taich from the lens of what's going on in terms of Mashiach, because ultimately it doesn't really matter if you think about it. If you're talking about Mashiach is coming anyway, right? It doesn't really matter if who's doing what. I mean, it does, but it really doesn't. You know what I mean? Like, because ultimately this was in Nevuah that it spoke about Gog and Magog, like Russia and this and that. It doesn't matter if it's World Economic Forum doing this or Zelensky doing this. These are just people that Hashem chose to be the players. You know?
So what's interesting, yeah, exactly. It's like, there's God, okay. So to us, us looking at this, like, very, like, closely, right? Yeah. So we think, right? We're to the best of our ability. Yeah. We see, like, Klaus Schwab, right?
Yeah.
And, the woof. The WEF.
Yeah, the WEF.
Okay.
The dogs.
And that's like the deepest we can go, right?
Yep.
But to the rabbis, they don't even have to know who those guys are. Those guys are. It's like the opposite. It's like it doesn't matter who's responsible for producing the product.
Yeah.
Meaning, like the product is the information that floats to the top, and it's what we look at as garbage. The rabbis look at it in the opposite. They're like, no, that's the information that's being projected to us. God is sending that to us. It wouldn't have got to us had God not wanted us to look at this information and to think about it. It doesn't matter if the people who are producing it are trying to lie or think that they're successfully lying.
Sure. Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
So to us, they're like, they're like the deepest of the cabal. But to the rabbis, these guys are just like, the guys who are stuck all the way down on the bottom of the factory, who they don't even want to know about. They don't care.
Yeah, because it doesn't really matter.
They're the sweatshop workers.
Yeah, because Hashem designated them to be these, the clown world before Mashiach arrives. And this is something that I try to tell. When I talk to my family, for example, people are panicking, running around like a chicken with a head cut off, and I try to tell them, like, when you start looking at everything from a Mashiach lens, it's not that it doesn't matter, it just doesn't matter who it is and how it is. And yes, Putin is doing this. He's his people are openly propagandizing. The people here in the media are covertly propagandizing. Shmurla's doing this. Like you sent me this thing. Shmurla said, that he was hesitant about Shmem Shmarnei. And
the details are like, they don't care. It's like they know that there's a role. Yeah. Like Han Solo in Star Wars. Yeah. Okay, it doesn't matter who got the role. Okay, Harrison Ford or Gary Busey.
Well, it's interesting.
Not Gary Busey. Nick Nolte was supposed to get that role.
Well, I was gonna say, did you ever see when you watch any of these casting call things, historical, for these big, blockbuster movies from the past, they show, the different guys who were going after the role, and there were plenty of, suitable and very famous actors going for the roles that we know to be these, whoever played them, the famous role. Like there were other guys going for Han Solo, but it's funny, you look back on it and you realize, like, could you imagine the other guy playing that guy? I can't. You know what I mean?
Ironically, who did a great routine about Nick Nolte becoming Han Solo?
Okay.
Patton Oswalt.
Oh my God.
He's like, can you imagine how awesome it would have been if Nick Nolte would have gotten the role? He goes, he wouldn't, he would have been like, oh, Chewie, God damn it, why is that? He'll just be fed up all the time. It's like, oh, what
like a crackhead.
The damn freaking ship doesn't work again. Chewie, I thought you fixed it. Fix the hyperdrive, too. Oh, God. Oh, it's a Star Destroyer. Oh. Chewie, go get the...
Listen, you realize when you look at who gets parts and who doesn't, you realize that casting directors are in fact talented people. They see the nuances of the person that's going out for the particular character that they have in their mind, when they're reading that screenplay.
I'm really shocked, by the way. What you're saying does not seem to jibe with Harrison Ford.
Really?
Have you ever heard or seen Harrison Ford speak?
Yeah, he's very very
What the hell? That guy is barely alive.
He's like monotone. He's like very monotone. It almost seems like you sometimes wonder, is he contriving his sarcasm, or is he just naturally like that? Very strange.
He's like...
He's ethereal. He's an ethereal being.
The only life I've ever seen in him, outside of a movie role, right? Like, is on Conan O'Brien.
Yeah.
Conan O'Brien had this segment where, him and his producer, Jordan Schlansky, I don't know if you've ever seen that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Maybe.
This guy, Jordan Schlansky, is one of his producers, and he, he's like this, like, he's portrayed as this like super douchey, like metrosexual, like pseudo enlightened fake Italian.
That's funny.
Like he's a gourmet, like he knows everything the best.
That's funny.
He's American, but he doesn't drink American coffee, only Italiano. That kind of guy.
Yeah.
And Conan makes fun of him all the time, and he's like, and at the end of the segment, he's like, he's really like that, folks. That's not a role. That's really what he's like. He's like, I'm trying to convince the audience that's real.
Very funny.
Anyway, so he's also a super Star Wars fan. And he built this Millennium Falcon out of like a big Millennium Falcon out of Legos, right?
Wow.
It's like a collector's item. It's huge. And then Harrison Ford was on the show, and he really wanted desperately to get Harrison Ford to sign it. Right? And Harrison Ford is a douche, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't like, he's full of contempt for anybody that liked him or his role.
Yeah, I know.
I've noticed that. And by the way, do you notice like the role that he took for the new Star Wars movies? Like he just like he agreed. He goes, I'm only going to take this role if they kill me.
Oh my God. It just seems like I feel like he's just upset that he was pigeonholed as that person. As that character.
Are you kidding me? He was freaking Indiana Jones.
He was Indiana Jones,
he was the fugitive.
So then what's the problem? Like, why is he so, like...
He's just a dude. He's a liberal douchebag. Yeah. That's the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is, he's like, get me out of here. Get these old white men out of there. Take over,
My God.
He's one of those guys.
Oh, God.
Right? Oh, God. He's like, you got to do away with us. He's one of these psychos.
He's said that, or that's you're just like a paraphrasing.
No. I've never heard him say those words, but I just know in my heart of hearts that's who he is.
Yeah. God.
Okay, that's who they all are.
Yeah.
These guys. Okay, I figured that out. It finally occurred to me that that's who he is when I saw the last Star Wars movie. The new one. Where his son, that weird looking like actor, kills him. It's just like so...
Oh, yeah, the guy that looks like his face... It's like a horse and a person had a child.
Whatever it is an odd-looking fellow, and I wish him the best.
Yes.
All right? So basically, not that I'm Mr. Universe over here, but still,
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, he just looks weird. And you know that he was in, like, the Marines or the Army, that guy?
Listen, you got, I'm not saying he's odd looking. You know who's odd looking to me, which I don't get. I don't get the appeal. But at the same time, Brad Pitt looks like Curious George the Monkey to me. I cannot look at that man and not see Curious George the Monkey. Can you see it?
I always thought it was George W. Bush, if anything. That
can you picture the little animation of Curious George the Monkey?
Hold on, Curious George.
You'll never not see.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, he kind of looks like Brad Pitt.
As soon as I saw him, I'm like, what the hell? Is that Curious George? Where's the man in the yellow hat?
Hold on.
His handler.
Let me see if maybe someone else saw this, what you see.
I don't want to get him. I mean, he's had a good career. I don't want to ruin it all of a sudden when everybody's like, You're right. He does look.
Dude, somebody made.
Over. I don't want to do that.
Somebody made a meme. The Curious George of Benjamin Button.
So I'm not the only one. Everybody I've ever spoken to is like, "What? Were you crazy?" Of course, everyone I've ever spoken to about that has been a lady, right?
Yeah, I know exactly.
They've been deeply offended.
You have the wrong audience here.
They're like, well, look at you, big nose. I'm like, I have a big nose, and I start crying. I do that, by the way, like, just to mess with them, because when you make a lady angry, and then she like wants to lash out and say something, right? Yeah. And then you're like, yeah, well, you got a big nose and big ears. I'm like, and then I pretend like I don't know, and I'm like, I do, and I grab it, I'm like, and I start crying. You see them. Sometimes they buy it. It's hilarious. Yeah. They're like, oh, I didn't know.
So I just want to tell you, finish telling you this Rabbi Kessin story.
Wait. So here's the thing. So you could tell how much contempt he had for his role as like, this super action movie star. Yeah. Because people were so looking forward to these new movies, right? Yeah. After the last debacles, right? Yeah. They were so looking. They're like, oh, we're gonna get him back, and then like within a few minutes of the movie, he's like dead. And I'm telling you, he got a sick thrill out of that. Yeah, he did. Okay? Yeah. No question. And then going back to Jordan Schlansky, this segment in Conan, he brings him this like Millennium Falcon and spent like who knows how long putting together, and then he goes like this, and then he picks it up, and then he pretends to he's like he's all clumsy, and then he throws it over his head, and it smashes to pieces. Oh my God. And that was the segment. Oh, and you see Jordan's face all destroyed.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
All right, back to Rabbi Kessin.
So I just wanted to tell you, I once asked Rabbi Kessin on the phone, I was like, what's the difference between you and your brother? He goes to me, my brother, we essentially more or less say this kind of, we have the same hashkafa. But the way my brother delivers it is that he literally gives people like the most harif, kind of gevurdik version of it. He goes, I like to give people a little bit of hope. And that's, and you hear the way, and Rabbi Kessin talks about, a lot of harsh things, and people, there's punishments and ketrugim and judgments, but with all that said, he claims that he likes to give people hope, as opposed to his brother, who kind of like, not so much. He just smashes you over the head with what's what, and that's it.
I have a deeper question. Where do you get the balls to ask Rabbi Kessin a question like that? He's like, what's the difference between you and your brother?
No, I just was like, I asked him from the context of like, I wanted to know because I listened to both of them, and I really wanted to know, like, you guys are both talking about current events, and, I was trying to figure out, like, the people that listen to either one of you or both of you, how do people decide, kind of like, because some people listen to him, some people listen to, his brother. So I was like, what's the difference in your approaches? Is there a difference? I just want to know. It's like asking what's the difference between, Lubavitcher Rebbe and another Lubavitch, whatever, or like two Lubavitcher Ravs, even though it's essentially the same, they're coming from the same place, but they have different ways of going about it. So yeah, I wanted to know. So he told me, he's like, it's like my brother kind of hits people over the head with a brick a little bit, and I try to give them a softer landing. It's essentially what he gave over to me. But
well, his brother, I think that his brother had lost a son.
His brother, he passed away. It was like 6 months ago or something like that.
Oh, was that recent? I didn't know.
It was recent. Yeah, it was fairly recent. Yeah. Young guy. He was like in his late 30s.
God.
He had a problem with whatever. His, pain, the stuff that a lot of people have a problem with. Yeah. This crap. Yeah, he had like he had issues like health, and then he started taking it for that, and then he got it, whatever. It's just unfortunately, this stuff that did not evade, or the Jewish world did not evade this issue. Young people, especially in the Haredi community,
Yeah.
What can you do?
I don't know.
But speaking of young people and evading, so I don't know if you saw that video that I sent you of Jason Bateman when he was 15 years old. It was his first appearance on Johnny Carson. And
what a wise guy, huh?
You look at this kid, I don't know if you saw the video, he's like wise beyond his years. Like an old soul, He's like, somebody joked like in the comments, this kid was born 40.
Yeah.
And all these comments.
You that's Johnny Carson. You had to have balls to do that. You saw how he tapped him on the hand. He's like,
yeah. Yeah. No, this kid is like, and even Johnny was like in the beginning of the thing. He's like, have we met? He's like, I don't know, and he kind of goes, maybe in a past life. I don't know. Jason goes, and the thing is, his sister at that time was a big star. What's her name? Justine, already with Family Ties. So he was just following kind of in her footsteps.
How I love thee.
Oh yeah, and have you seen her lately?
It's not nice, okay, Greg? It's not nice.
I know. It sucks. No, I don't mean it. It sucks. It really sucks.
40, she must be in mid-50s.
No, but it sucks. Like some of these women, the Hollywood women that kept it together, and by her, I was shocked. I was like, wow, wow. It was like a big, I don't know what happened there. Maybe drugs. I mean, I would assume drugs.
No, she's not. I mean, I don't think so. It's just like some people they get old,
No, I know, but like a lot of these Hollywood women,
she didn't.
I'm not saying you should.
People who decide,
yeah,
to not do all that crazy stuff to themselves.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're supposed to do crazy, surgery, but just whatever.
You wanted her to do some surgery.
No, I didn't.
You're like, come on, Justine.
Yeah. No, but she was a huge star. So, at that time, so this kid is in his sister's shadow, so to speak. But then he became a very big star. And,
yeah, no, I mean, she, I think the last time I saw her was a few years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a show on the USA Network.
Of course there was.
No,
Did you ever see that thing on Family Guy where they have it's Peter recollects, he's like, that's like the time I watched that show on Lifetime or something, and then they have this stupid two women sitting ice cream and having this stupid back and forth, and then it goes, Lifetime, television for idiots. The hell's that noise?
That was my robot.
Okay.
That rudely interrupted us.
Okay.
I'm very proud of my robot. I've never had one of these before.
I guess it didn't want me to say that joke because it was offensive to women. Oh well.
But that's what we do here, Greg.
Yeah, we offend women all the time. What's it called? Yeah, so I was gonna say that Jason Bateman really, it seems, circumvented the whole thing of child actors either being completely really, really screwed up later in life or being, sexually abused. At the very least, the first one.
He never went crazy with the movie career. He stuck to the shows, kind of.
That's true.
His the only time I ever really was conscious of him in a movie was Necessary Roughness. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
He was like the rich college kid, right?
Yeah,
His father wanted him.
Yeah.
There's this one scene when they went to a bar, right? in Texas, some redneck Texas bar.
Yeah.
And their rival team, the champion like Texas like college team, they were there too, and they came to approach him. And the teams that the quarterbacks came, or the captains of the team came to face off. And for our guys, it was Scott Bakula, the old he played the old quarterback. And then the other team had this like big giant guy with a square jaw. The guy literally had a square head. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, if it ain't the by God, whatever. They were doing all this like Texas tough guy talk, right? Yeah. And then Jason Bateman, he wanted to like be part of it too. Yeah. So he like said something, and the guy like shoved him. He goes, "You say something, sugar?"
Yeah.
It's like, "You say something, sugar?"
Yeah.
Oh man, that was.
I'll tell you what movies he was in. He was in a few movies.
Larry Miller played the famous comedian. He played the principal or the dean of Texas, whatever school they were in, right? Mm-hmm. And in that bar, they got into a huge fight and they wrecked the whole bar. Mm-hmm. But the sheriff didn't want to arrest anybody at all because the other team was the pride of Texas, mm-hmm. and the sheriff is not going to get reelected if he arrests the best football players in the state. Yeah. So Larry Miller, who's like this kind of prissy guy, totally not Texas, he comes up to the sheriff. He goes, "I want you to start arresting everybody, right?" And then the sheriff is like this big dude. He like pokes him in the chest. He goes, "You don't tell me what I got to do, right?" Yeah. And he's like, "Ow, ow!" Right? He's getting poked in the chest. Yeah. And then the other guy comes up. He goes, "Hurts when they poke you like that." Yeah. God, I love that movie. I remember that movie by heart.
By the way, he was in the movie. Okay, so he was in Teen Wolf 2.
Yeah, right.
1987.
That was a little bit before. Right.
He was in some movie called Moving Target, which I forgot what it's about, but it's a familiar title.
That was when he was a kid.
Yeah.
That was when he was like
19 years old. He was 19.
Yeah.
He was in Necessary Roughness. He was in Love Stinks. Remember that movie with French Stewart and Bill Bellamy where they're like players?
Yes.
And whatever.
I remember that movie. I just recently watched that crazy, psychotic ass movie.
Huh.
And after seeing that movie, I can understand why neither French Stewart nor that beautiful blonde chick who married Pete Sampras ever had a career again.
Oh, God. Yeah. Huh. He was also in The Sweetest Thing with Cameron Diaz and Christina Applegate and Selma Blair.
I didn't catch that one.
Yeah, and then he was in Starsky and Hutch. And then he was in Dodgeball, so he was like doing these stupid movies with what's his name, the half Jew.
Dude, I love
Ben Stiller.
I love Selma Blair. Love it.
Yeah. And then
she's suffering greatly right now. She's having like
she has some issues. She has some sort of what does she have?
But she still looks beautiful.
She has something. What does she have? Some kind of autoimmune situation, like something like that.
She's having some kind of disease that has to do with not being able to control muscle, like spasms, and it's I'm sure in some ways similar to.
She has MS. Yeah, multiple sclerosis.
Multiple sclerosis.
Yeah.
That's what Michael J. Fox has, right?
Yeah, she said no. Michael J. Fox has Parkinson's.
Oh shit! I bet.
Yeah. Yeah, she says for years she had thought that she was suffering from minor illnesses or a pinched nerve, but the diagnosis finally explained disabilities, including her occasional falling, dropping things, foggy memory, and left her left side acting like it was asking for directions from a broken GPS. Wow. Yeah, I remember something about this. She was talking about it. This leads me into what I showed you today with Patrice O'Neill about the celebrities that lobby for causes, for diseases that they have.
I can't believe you even know about the routine. I was thinking about that as we were talking about it. I didn't want to get into it.
Yeah.
He's like, I wish that some famous person had my disease, right? Then get cured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's like, but I don't care.
Like famous people get them.
Yeah, he's like, I don't care because I ain't got it. So, F him. F it. It's like, what? He's like, I was praying that they would get that disease so they could solve it. Or something like that. No, I was praying to get that disease, the one that they have that they're solving. Something like, what the hell?
Yeah, Patrice had a very clear view of what was going to happen to him. Like, he didn't even, think it wasn't. That's why he probably lived the way that he lived.
Yeah.
Because,
He was doing Charlie Sheen's roast, and he made a joke like, I'm dying of diabetes or something like that, and blah, 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 And everybody kind of laughed and go, woo! Like, as if it's like a badge of honor. That's how screwed up Hollywood is. Like, people cheer at a guy who's like, who they cheer at a guy who ruined his health and is proud of it, or something like that, or sounds proud of it.
That's what they all do there, man.
Yeah.
They have a tradition of fat, unhealthy guys who kill themselves for entertainment.
Yeah, for other people's entertainment. Yeah.
Well, I mean, because they don't want to lose their, they believe that if they lose weight or if they stop getting crazy, then they're not going to be as funny.
Yeah.
And not going to be liked, and whatever.
Yeah. It's almost like a death cult where the person dying is involved in the ritual deliberately. You know what I mean? It's very strange.
I kind of, it's a very kind of like immature view. I remember kind of having that when I was 13 or 14.
Yeah.
Like, because based on everything I'd seen in the movies and everything that had looked good to me, nothing looked good after 40.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying no.
Like,
you're saying
why do I want to live past 40? I was thinking stuff like that.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. I mean, when I was 13, 14, I was like, what do I see after 40?
Yeah.
I see people becoming less and less attractive, and low energy, and crankier, and unhappier. That's all I see. Why would I want that?
Yeah.
And then and then like a few years prior to that, I had seen the glorious way that Patrick Swayze died in Point Break. I'm like, that's the way. Yeah. That's the way. I became one of those guys.
Oh God.
And then I didn't realize how soon 40 was.
You wanted to go out.
I think I wanted to continue a little bit longer now.
Yeah.
Now that I'm here.
Just as coach.
Not as bad as I thought.
First of all, you realize that actually men, once again, an offensive comment towards women, men age way better. So you realize you have an advantage, not just you, most men. And you realize that it's like more. You start to be a little more comfortable in your skin. After 40,
That's one way of putting it.
You stop giving a damn what people think.
You stop caring.
You stop caring. You stop caring what people think. You just start doing your thing. And just actualizing, even if not like necessarily financially, but hopefully financially, but you start actualizing your ratzon, what it is that, drives you in life, even if it's something that's like, a global disease came out, and you have identified, who's responsible for whatever. Even if it's just that, but even that connects to a grander story, which is Mashiach, which is participating in this kind of story, in this parsha, really,
dude.
And it's something.
Freaking Tic Tacs and Mashiach. I mean, I'm sticking around basically for that.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'm not sure. Like, well,
listen,
now I have another reason to stick around. I'm not gonna say it on air.
I hear.
So now.
What I was gonna say was, do you realize that thing you don't want to say, plus just the actual way the world is going to be after Mashiach comes, will dwarf the whole Tic Tacs, temporary Tic Tacs experience. The laser light show,
man. Obviously, but I got to take what's available.
You got to take what
you know what I mean? Like,
It's like all those Russians that used to go to the Pink Floyd. We went to Pink Floyd laser light show. It's like Friday night. This is before Shabbos. Before Shabbos was like a thing in my life. Like, where are you going tonight?
Yeah.
We went to Pink Floyd laser light show. I knew guys in my high school that Russian guys went every week to the Pink Floyd laser light show. I'm like, where is this? What is this? What?
Yeah. What is it? I was like, Pink Floyd played every week.
Yeah, right. No, it's not the band. It's like laser light show.
I don't get that. What the hell are they talking about?
I'll tell you exactly what it is. Here, it's here. Pink Floyd laser show. The Pink Floyd laser. So now it's called the Pink Floyd Laser Spectacular. Basically, what it is, it's in. It used to be. I mean, they have it in Austin, Texas, but it used to be. Crap. In here, tour dates. See, they have it like in Florida. Oh, they have it in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, February. Oh, it was okay. Des Moines, Iowa. See, now it's like traveling, but they used to be. I think they had it back in the day. In hold on, New Jersey. Usually it's like Ocean County. They had it like in Atlantic City, that kind of thing. So basically, what they do is. Yeah, it says carries listeners. Yeah, Paramount presents the Laser Spectacular. It's a smash hit multimedia laser and light show featuring original master recordings of Pink Floyd. Laser Spectacular carries listeners away on a mind-expanding journey driven by cutting-edge effects, high-powered lasers, and large screen video projection, all choreographed to the masterful soundtrack of Pink Floyd. The Laser Spectacular has become a must-see classic for Floyd fans of all ages. So basically, these guys used to like smoke and go and watch this thing. He says the first half viewed through 3D glasses features Dark Side of the Moon. The second half viewed through mind-blowing prism glasses rocks to Pink Floyd's The Wall. So it's basically these two long, I guess, tracks, and you see this like thing. It's pretty cool. I think it's in the city. Maybe they just travel around now.
How old were you when you first saw Pink Floyd The Wall, the movie?
I never saw the movie.
Okay.
I've seen like the what is it, music video, the Leave the Kids Alone, all that stuff, but I never actually saw the movie.
I watched that movie, and I think that movie introduced me to pain and depression.
Really?
I'm pretty sure it
Why?
hypnotized me into knowing what pain and depression was.
Why?
And
how?
Being drugged out and bitter and just like numb from like failed relationships.
Interesting.
Like, if you watch that movie, that's all it's about.
Oh, yeah?
It's like just trauma from losing someone in the war. Gosh. And and it just all this like mental breakdowns and Bob Geldof. Just
and Bob Geldof.
And Bob Geldof, man.
Mental breakdowns and Bob Geldof.
Yeah, and horrible, fascist teachers. All this kind of stuff.
Yeah. But listen, it was pretty predictive. What you just described is like today. Dude, did you see those videos of like I saw some video last week of literally parents in Virginia standing, in front of the school board, and they're showing them, there's like a book that they made kids read or teach the kids in sex ed.
Yeah, with like kiddie porn, right? Like
it's
a
disgusting.
Cartoon porn or something.
Yeah, it's like two boys. It's disgusting. It's like literally mamash like disgusting.
Блядь, их надо мочить.
Yeah, dude, you gotta take an axe.
Наповал всех. Просто размазывать.
Yeah, dude, it's mamash like Sodom stuff. And the parents are like, up in arms about it. And the board is just sitting there like trying to gaslight them, turn it around on them, and the parents are like, yo.
Sometimes I'm like, I'm looking around, I'm like, Americans, I'm like Christians. What happened to you guys? Remember when you guys used to, used to come on horseback and slay entire villages?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why don't you do that now? Why now are you like the most,
docile,
biggest pushovers ever in history?
Yeah.
When we need you to actually be on horseback slicing.
Do you want to know the answer to this question?
Down the middle.
Do you want to know the answer to the question? I feel
like I kind of know.
My father once told me, it's all about the calendars. He goes to me, okay, he goes, you remember what Christianity was doing in the year 14 something or 15 something. They were doing what you just described, especially to the Jews. He goes, what year is it on the Muslim calendar? 14 something. There you go. So now it's the Muslims' turn to do what the Christians did in 14.
So around the year 1400, people. What about the year 1000 when they were doing the same thing?
I'm saying that 400-year, kind of range. You're right.
Okay.
You're right, dude. What were we doing in the year 1400 on the Hebrew calendar? What were we doing?
What were we doing? We were in Egypt.
Oh, that's fun.
Let's see. Hold on. So 3,000 years ago is when King David. 3,020 years ago is when King David founded officially Jerusalem. Jerusalem became the capital of Israel 3,000 years ago. Yeah. And King David was like 400, 500 years after Yetziat Mitzrayim.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you do this math? Because I'm at the end of the day right here. And you're from the math family.
Wait, King David, say it again.
All right, forget it. What was 1400 BC? Where?
BCE?
Like how many years ago?
No, not 1400 CE. 1400 CE.
3,400.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
BC.
You're right.
3,400 years ago, right?
Something. Yeah. So yes, correct.
We were in Egypt. We didn't have our.
The only
we had Joshua and the conquest of the land of Israel, but we were literally commanded by God to do that.
That's fine.
And neither Christian nor Muslim is going to contradict that. They have that in their book.
Well, the Christians and the Muslims claim that they are commanded by God to do what they did or doing, even though they probably weren't.
Yeah, but
it's a claim.
But was it really though?
No.
Did they have a book that told? Well, the Muslims they wrote a book.
Yeah.
In which the writer said, "What do you guys want to do? Rape and murder?" Okay.
With Christians, it was like this whole manifest destiny thing. Whatever That's actually how America. That's the whole thing of America. I was talking to this guy on Twitter, and I told him about. Some Japanese guy was talking about just for American foreign policy. And then at the end, it all really came down to, he's like, I have no problem with the American people or with America. I have a problem with this idea of American exceptionalism. No, he's like, I'm annoyed by this idea of American exceptionalism. And
Who said that?
Some Japanese guy on Twitter, whatever. And I go to him, if you want to not be annoyed, I said, read the writings of Alexis de Tocqueville, the French political philosopher who was examining or observing America kind of from the outside. He was fascinated by America. It was in the 1800s. And also read the Federalist Papers. That's what I told him to do. And then he was just kind of like, I know about this at the Tocqueville. I respectfully disagree. Whatever it is. But where was I going with this? I don't remember. What were we talking about? I'm blanking out.
I believe that we were talking about American exceptionalism.
Oh, Manifest Destiny. Yes.
Okay.
Manifest Destiny. So, you want to hear some quotes from this de Tocqueville guy?
Sure.
Interesting quotes. I never knew that he was the one that wrote them. He goes, in the United States, the majority undertakes to supply a multitude of ready-made opinions, speaking of outsourcing, for use of individuals who are thus relieved from the necessity of forming opinions of their own. Sound familiar?
Yes.
This is a French guy observing America, okay, in the 1800s. Next quote. Consider any individual at any period
the only thing I take umbrage with is that that he seems to be singling out Americans, which is a very French thing to do.
He is, he was very pro-American though. He respected America. He was just observing things honestly.
Well, we're not off to a good start.
Well, listen. I just chose the ones that were kind of more like, not negative, but more kind of relevant to today. I even wrote like some relevant quotes from So here, consider any individual at any period of his life, and you will always find him preoccupied with fresh plans to increase his comfort. This is just like a general and human condition. Next, Americans are so enamored of equality, this is back in the 1800s, that they would rather be equal in slavery than unequal in freedom. Wow. It is the dissimilarities and inequalities among men which give rise to the notion of honor. As such differences become less, it grows feeble. I guess honor grows feeble. And when they disappear, when the differences disappear, honor will vanish too. Wow. Next, liberty cannot be established without morality, nor morality without faith. This is what you mentioned last week, I think. The Americans combine the notions of religion and liberty so intimately in their minds that it is impossible to make them conceive of one without the other. Correct. And this is the last one. In America, the majority raises formidable barriers around the liberty of opinion. Within these barriers, an author may write what he pleases, but woe to him if he goes beyond them. Meaning, there's a narrative, there's like acceptable things. It's amazing. He wrote this mid-1800s. And if you write outside of that, God help you.
You talk about the mid-1800s as if it was like a billion years ago. It's really barely a second in the grand scheme of things.
For sure, but it just seems like, I guess at that time, at least you had, at least maybe we think people had more freedoms, but it seems, even back then, they had like, when Jefferson, if you read about it, like the whole, the newspapers back then, when it was Jefferson versus Adams, there was pro-Jefferson newspapers and pro-Adams newspapers. Like biased newspapers.
Well, of course.
And people think that journalism was like always unbiased. No, they like horribly partisan, like ridiculously partisan.
No, but I think people were more aware of it.
Yeah, for sure.
People, look, they had critical thinking abilities in those days. That's the difference.
Yep.
I think it's okay to have a biased newspaper as long as the other guy gets to have a biased newspaper.
And also as long as people can tell. I mean, people today can tell, but they're not so bothered by it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really bothered by it, but whatever. At this point, it's just.
These arguments are already done.
Yes.
And done.
I think at this point it's what I don't know if you ever heard that you mentioned this idea that Hashem is just literally putting people into camps now to see who is with him and who is against him. And all these political divisions, they're not so much divisions, it's like borer. The great
like a bureau, you mean?
Yeah, the great bureau, And that's
for the folks at home. Bureau is like a sifting.
Yeah.
Like when you're sifting for gold, right? You have to.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It's. I think that's what's happening. I think anybody who just kind of has the idea of there's a God. Okay, he wants you to do good. He wants a husband and wife. He wants you not to kill children.
Yeah.
He wants you not to impose on others.
Yeah.
Right? Unless they want to kill their children, and in which case, please impose.
Yeah.
Save a life.
Yeah. So.
I think that's what it comes down to.
Yeah.
It's like, don't rape babies, don't kill children, get married to a man and a lady, make people, and be nice to each other. And believed in God.
So
I think that's what it boils down to.
So what the crazy part is that it's interesting that everybody thinks that, this whole division, and let's say in America specifically, over the Shmek scene, everybody thinks it's a left versus right thing. And it's actually not. You know what it is? And I came to this conclusion when I'm trying to figure out why in Israel it's reverse, meaning the people that are pro the stuff are right wing. So what it seems to be, it seems to be on face value left. People think it's left and right, but it's not. It's a statism versus anti-statism. Nanny state versus anti-nanny state mentality. So in Israel, most of the people that are enamored, so to speak, with the state are the right wingers. They're the ones, even the Dati Leumi, so to speak, the religious right wing. The state is like a holy thing, Here in America, the people that are enamored with the state are left wingers. It's very interesting. So people think it's like left and right.
It's not interesting. It's tragic.
It's obviously tragic, but it's people think it's like this. Oh, you're right wing Trump. This, this whole they correlate it with how you stand on the vaccine. It's stupid. It's not a left and right. It's a state. Do you worship the state, the government, or do you worship Hashem? So the scary part is about Israel is that these people who are supposed to be worshiping Hashem, it's one thing when you have leftists who are worshiping the state. So it's leftists worshiping the state. But you have people who are supposedly davening and learning Torah in Israel worshiping the state also. That's way scarier than any lefty worshiping the state. What do you think?
It is. I agree with you. There's something. Obviously, there's something deeply wrong with the Dati Leumi situation because look at their decisions. Look at their behavior. Obviously, whatever they're wearing on their head doesn't seem to really matter.
Yeah. And man, it's really crazy because out of all the groups that there's a group in Israel. I don't even know if you want to call it a group, but they got it into my head when I first went to yeshiva. You have to pick a derech, what they call it, derech, hashkafa, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
Or at least a derech in terms of where you're going to live, what neighborhood you're going to live in, with whom you identify. And I started seeing that I identify the most with, I guess you call it Habakkuk, where it's like, the people who live in, there's a place called Batayan, so it's like the people who are the mix of Chabad, Breslov, Rav Kook, and this whole like cholent of things. But if you slice it down, it's kind of also like a Dati Leumi thing, but not quite, right? But I realized that
that's what it's the first time I ever saw dudes with payas.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Who are kind of jacked.
Yeah.
Wearing t-shirts. Yeah. Jeans and riding dirt bikes.
Dude, it's a unique.
I've never seen that before.
I love it.
Except for Badayan, in Israel.
It's not just it's all over those settlements, and it's my. I'll tell you, man. It's funny because it is my thing. I can't say
I'm on a horseback. It's crazy.
I can't say I'm exactly like them because it's funny when I go there because I do the wine stuff and I go there sometimes. When I go there, I feel like I'm. I feel like I'm like Kevin Costner in Dances with Wolves or Tom Cruise in The Last Samurai, where I'm just like white.
They feel like exactly.
I feel like I'm the white interloper among
they're
natives.
They're nice, a little wild.
They're wild,
and, it's kind of like Richard Pryor.
Yeah.
He was talking about when he went on safari to Africa, right? And he's like, he goes, when you go on safari, right? Even a rabbit will scare you.
Yeah.
He goes, my wife's like, oh, what are you worried about a rabbit? He's like, well, you ain't no rabbit ever looked at me like that. I can't show you.
Yeah.
Look, he's like, this is crazy look,
Yeah.
Stick it out.
Right? I know his.
Right. So he's like, that's a safari rabbit.
Yeah.
So everything, so it's like in that kind of setting, it's like the people make you a little nervous because it's kind of a wild setting, and these people kind of live here. They live in this, and they're not wild, but they're
not wild. They're very.
There's something tribal though. There's something tribal.
It's definitely tribal. They're very free. They're very. It's funny. They're very chilled out. Because you live in rural area. You don't live in the city. You're very relaxed. Dude, when I go there, I'm like, that's partially why I love it, because it makes me feel very relaxed, but also it's also very holy. People are very into Torah there in their own unique way. It's very much Torah and the land connection. and working the land, and it's like you actualize the mitzvahs of the you're talking about like Shemitah and all these things.
You ever heard that song, like Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young? Everybody calls it Woodstock, but it's not. It's like let me see. Hold on a second. Hang on a second. This is like it's connected to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Hang on. Crosby, Stills.
Is it Teach Your Children Well? Is that one?
No. Hang on a second. It's it is called Woodstock. No, it's actually called Woodstock. Not bad. All right.
That's
so
funny.
it was like, yeah. So it starts off. This is actually a Joni Mitchell song.
Uh-huh.
But I think they did much. I prefer their version of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it says, "Well, I came upon a child of God." No. You know what? Hold on.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play it. The folks should hear it. And even though they're schmucks now, at some point in their life, they weren't complete schmucks, and they were able to produce this kind of beauty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this guy, what's his name? Neil Young is a total clown.
Yeah, he was there too.
He came back to Spotify. It's kind of funny. What an idiot.
Putz.
What an idiot.
Yeah.
God. It's also Putz, Howard Stern. They found videos of him. In blackface. You know about this stuff, right?
No, I never heard about him in black. What the hell is this blackface thing?
Yeah,
I don't understand. I don't get why. Why was it ever even funny?
It's a bunch of people who are actual racists, and then 30 years later they accuse everybody else of being racist, when in reality they're the racist.
No, this is like a comedian thing to do.
It is, yeah.
Like there was a thing where Ted Danson and Whoopi Goldberg, when they were like married.
Yeah.
Let me repeat what I just said.
Yeah.
Ted Danson was either married or I think they were either dating or married to Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
Does anybody recall that little era in history?
Yeah.
Okay. And then they appeared at a show together, and
very strange.
And he was wearing blackface, and it was some kind of comedian thing that it's like some kind of esoteric thing among comedians that I never understood it though.
Yeah,
I know it has something to do with Al Jolson, but I don't get the joke.
He did blackface.
I'm not saying it's not possible. I just don't understand.
He did blackface. I don't know.
I know that Al Jolson did blackface. I just don't know what. I don't get the.
Yeah.
Whatever. Here's Woodstock. Yeah. Oh, this is a commercial that YouTube was trying to kill me with. Hang on. Sorry. YouTube always makes sure that I see, an animal cut in half or a child dying from cancer. Otherwise, All right, tell me if you can hear this.
Yeah.
You got it?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. The child of God, he was walking along the road, and tell me where I go.
I never heard the song.
The song is just like something else. But so, hold on. So, I just wanted to get the rhythm of the lyrics down.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, well, I came upon a child of God, and he was walking along the road and asked me, something like, where are you going?
So the song is like, reminds you
and I'm going down to Yasker's farm, I'm going to join in a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's exactly Bateman.
Yeah.
They're trying to describe Woodstock.
Yeah.
Woodstock is a fraud, because I saw the videos.
Yeah.
I saw the whole thing. I saw what the people were like.
Mm-hmm.
I saw that people got killed, people got smushed, people were having like horrible, like, there was raping going on. F Woodstock. This song is about Batayan.
Yeah. Yeah. And dude, though, that's actually the last Purim that I spent. The last Purim day that I had before COVID was in Batayan. 2020.
The last Purim.
The last Purim before COVID. The last Purim Suda I had before COVID.
Okay, that was like right before COVID. Okay.
Was in Batayan. Purim day. That was in Batayan. March 2020.
Man.
And I was there.
I was in Batayan in 1999.
Wow. That's a long time ago. My business partner went to Batayan Yeshiva when they had the Anglo program, the English language program back then. This is like early 2000s he went. And I wanted to go later. I mean, obviously, this is already 2012, and they already phased it out. But I realized, well, actually, it may have been for me. I don't know. It was a little hippy-dippy. It was kind of hippy-dippy, you know? But I heard the Torah was very good.
Look, I mean, I don't know if it's really hippy-dippy. Is it really hippie? Do you think that... I know I was just talking about Woodstock, but that's not...
Batayan is really... very hippy-dippy. These days, it's like hippy-dippy American.
I guess it still wasn't that much hippy-dippy when I saw it.
It's hippy-dippy.
You still had like Israelis there.
No, you have Israelis there. You have Israelis, but it's very like chilled out, kind of floaty. Like part of it is floaty, the other part of it is like dudes with like, guns and axes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I saw.
And
also like to me, hippy-dippies, they can't, they don't know how to frame up a house.
No, so
they don't know how to ride a dirt bike. They don't have a cigarette hanging from their mouth. That kind of. That's not.
So Batayan changed a little bit because a lot of Americans came. A lot of Americans came. The Nachlaot types came.
Because the guys were still kind of. They were still kind of. I mean, they were open-minded, but still kind of. They were kind of like dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's not like that anymore.
It is, but it's just a different. It's a different demographic that came in. The funniest thing about some of the people who live in Batayan today, or some of the people that come to Batayan are, because again, you have this whole class of younger, frum people, let's say, or people who grew up frum. Some of them hate Trump, and yet, they have relatives who live in settlements. Because they grew up religious, and they go there and they go there for Shabbos all the time. These people that hate Trump, and I tell them, I'm like, you putz, do you realize if it wasn't for Trump, or if it was up to the guy that you like, the guy that came before Trump, your relative's house would be razed.
What's wrong with these people? Like, seriously, what's wrong with them? Like, what?
Because
what's in their brain? What do they have stuck in there?
A lot of oatmeal and a lot of cholent, and I mean that figuratively, because what happens is that they end up being they grow up religious, and then they see the world, and then they see contradictions between what the world tells them is quote unquote civilized and versus what their parents or their grandparents are espousing, right? And I'm just telling you from my experience of living in Crown Heights, actually.
It just hit me.
Interacting, yeah.
No, continue.
So interacting with a lot of these kids who are, their parents were Balei Tshuva by the Rebbe, so these kids are, a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are, like what I call clinging to the derech. Or some of them are off the derech. So they're spending now their lives trying to reconcile their parents what their parents espouse, what their grandparents espouse, or what their parents espouse. Where some of the relatives live in these places, versus American kind of, they don't even see it as leftist sensibilities, they just see it as like mainstream thought that you need to espouse in order to be considered an upstanding person. If you live in New York City or something like that. They're basically trying to like sit with their ass on two chairs. Sort of.
So, as you were saying that, part of what you were saying, it caused me to think the following.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if everybody had the same experience, but when you're a kid, right?
Yeah.
Let's say you have an uncle that has a father who has a business, okay, and then or a grandfather, whatever, and he has employees, right? And you see a grandfather walking around all cranky, right? And he doesn't seem to be very happy, and he's not extremely pleasant all the time, right? He's not being a douchebag, but he's like not smiling. And then there's an employee that he has who's smiling, and he always like talks to you, and he's nice to you, and this kind of stuff. And when you're a kid, right, you like that employee, and then sometimes your grandfather or your uncle will come and yell at this guy, and then you get angry at your uncle and your grandfather, right? Like, why can't you be as nice as this guy? But you're a child, you don't understand that the employee, instead of doing the work that he's being paid for, is talking to you and just BSing and wasting time. Like, you don't get that when you're a kid.
Yeah.
Some people never get past that kid part.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
there's such a shallow, childish understanding of the world.
Yeah, it's and a lot of, listen, we understand that, our sages told us, before the Geula, it's going to be Pnei Hador, Pnei Kelev, right? So part of the word Kelev, the dog is ruled by the heart. So you see these people that they're primarily emotion. They are primarily emotion. You cannot reason with them, not because they're stupid, not because it's even left wing or right wing. It's just a emotional issue at this point. That's just what it seems like to me.
No, but it is a kind of stupidity, though.
It is.
They are stupid.
It's a form of stupidity, yeah. But these people go to Ivy League schools, some of them. But that doesn't mean anything.
That means zero.
Yeah, it does.
I think yesterday I heard like a quote from Elon Musk or something like that.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't give a damn about school at all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I didn't finish school. I didn't think I needed. You know what school? You know what Harvard is? I hire people from Harvard.
Exactly.
They work for me.
Exactly. Listen, dude. Today I made a video called. It's called "Amalek has a lot of degrees hanging on the wall," or something like that. And it's funny. Like, I was sitting on Shabbos, and I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because this is the week of where Amalek is most active, right? So I'm sitting and I start getting these thoughts in my head, like, I should be doing this and I should be doing that, and look at this guy and look at that guy that I know. All these guys that I grew up with are doing this and that and the other. This and that, and just started having, these kind of thoughts of like, inner negative beliefs. And then I realized that's Amalek. And one of the things of Amalek, it's obviously it's the same gematria as Sofek, as doubt.
Yeah.
You start to doubt yourself. And one of the things of Amalek has a lot of degrees hanging on the wall. And his job is to get you, like you always say, who are you going to believe me? Who are you going to believe, me or your lying eyes? You're going to believe me, and I have who with all my pieces of paper on the wall? That's Amalek. And he convinces you that if you don't have the pieces of paper on your wall, that you're nothing. And I automatically like kind of identified that whole my thought process, and I was like, dude, stop. Just stop, man. It kind of goes back to what you said, if how should I put this? If Hashem, like, if Hashem wanted us to do something, or if Hashem, like, say, wanted me to do something, He would have given me that desire to want to do it. That make any sense?
If He wanted you to do something,
for example,
sometimes it's the opposite.
No, do you know what I mean? It's like I know these guys. They're all, in various careers, and I think to myself, like, I could probably, if I wanted to, go, study something and do any one of those careers, And I just don't find myself. I don't find myself wanting to do. How some people, like, they have their thing that they're passionate about, right? But they realize they're not going to do that as a career because it's not going to give them the parnasa that they want, right? So what do? They find the thing that kind of like is the secondary thing, but the thing that they are still interested in, and they go do that, and that funds the thing that they're passionate about, right? That's most normal people on planet Earth, or like half of the people, let's say. Or it's conventional thinking. Let's put it that way. For some reason, I don't feel the need to do that. Like to a fault, I actually want to make parnasa from the thing that I care about. You know what I mean? And I'm going to.
Yeah, I know. Exactly,
and I'm going to die trying. Meaning, like I'm going to like. Temporarily, I'm willing to temporarily put myself, so to speak, not in the poorhouse, but just.
I'm starting to feel that way.
You know what I mean?
About podcasting.
Yeah,
these conversations.
Dude, I'm really, I really don't want. People like, I had like this girl I was dating. This is years ago. Her mom was just like, "Why don't you go do finance? Because you seem to be good at that, and then write. You should really write, but do that on the side, or journalism or something, And I'm like, that's a good idea, but I just don't want to do it that way. And I don't know why I should be forced to, or I should feel compelled to do it that way, or I should do it that way because other guys doing it that way and this and that. The only thing that I see, the only reason that I would do it that way maybe is because in our world, even today, the people with the money are the ones that everybody listens to. So, if I have my wonderful ideas, and all my friends tell me, and you have all your wonderful ideas, and we say, everybody should be listening to us, but the only reason they're not is because we don't have money.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to.
That's what it comes. So that may be a reason. That might be a reason for me.
There's a law. We have a Jewish law, halacha, that says that a prophet has to be rich.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah. Yeah, but you see some of these guys who are rich, they don't have very smart things to say.
No,
everybody listens to them.
I know that, but people listen to them anyway, right?
Yeah.
So that's why a prophet, especially a prophet who was supposed to be a prophet for the whole public. That's the robot. A prophet who has to be, for the whole people, right?
Yeah.
That generation, or even for future generations, has to be rich not because the wealth makes you a better prophet.
Yeah.
Actually, perhaps it might have the opposite effect. But you need the wealth because the nature of people is to trust someone whom God has blessed with money.
Yeah. Yeah.
And with resources. Okay? So you could have smart things to say, which could be 100 times smarter than the next guy. But if that guy has money, all of a sudden he's witty and charming, and you are like, who the hell are you? That's what people are like. It's not. People are not impressive.
I know.
People are. They're good. There's a lot of good things about them, but it's not. I've always wondered what it is, and I think it has to do with death. It's the desperation. It's subconscious desperation.
Yeah.
That people know that their impending doom is coming, and somehow, if they had some money, maybe that could. They
want to make this stupid ride, pleasant.
More pleasant, or you can distract yourself more, or you could delay it.
Yeah.
You rich people have access to stuff that.
It's like my mother says, "I want an easy life." I'm like.
That's not just your mother. Everybody says that.
I know, but it's like I never found. How should I put this? I never found the appeal of that. Meaning, not to say that I want like a horribly hard life. I don't. But I never found that to be easy life to be the goal. I think that people should have some element of comfort in order for them to be able to do what their mission is.
That's what she's talking about.
That's not what she's talking about. She's literally I mean, I'll tell you like this. What she wants when she says that is that she says, for example, she Dafka doesn't want to do all this hesed and all this philanthropy. So that's part of it.
Doesn't, you're saying?
No, does. She does. Dafka does.
Okay.
So that's part of it, but like a lot of it is just not having
what?
No. She doesn't want to worry. She doesn't want to worry about whatever,
Here's what it is. As a person in Russia or coming to the United States, or working or struggling, right? There are people who struggle to make the bills, right? To have enough.
Yeah.
Like, I remember this. Like, I remember this well.
Yeah.
Like, I had to go. Like, there was like a year, maybe a little bit more than a year, where I had to literally go, go do Uber, whatever, or something else, or I don't eat that day, or there's no toothpaste, or you don't pay, you can't get the a light bulb, or you fill up your gas tank, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So that is like when you were living like that, you were truly a slave.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, you're just living to live.
Yeah. Like
you don't even, like, the only thing that I did during that whole time is I listened to lectures on YouTube. Like that was like, my, like a second chance at yeshiva kind of, that's where I listened to the whole series of everything that Rabbi Kessin had on Derech Hashem and, all this kind of, I learned a lot, but that was it.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that, I shouldn't diminish that. That was huge, and it affects me probably more than anything else. But you want to also be able to affect the world. Yeah. And if you're just struggling just to live, that's what she's talking about. When she says easy life, meaning like I don't have to worry about like.
But here's the thing, man. Like, it's not like they didn't attain that here, but it's one of those things where.
You don't know what that means to each person.
I know. I'm saying they want to get. She wants to get to a place where she doesn't. She could just like go somewhere and not have to think about just money, ever. Not like to have to look for deals. But it's like, how many people who are wealthy and still think about money constantly? It's not wealthy. Who are wealthy and still think about, it's like it's never enough. It's like Gemara says, the person has 200, he wants 400. He has 400, he wants 800. It's never enough. What's enough? $100 million, $50 million. Like what? Give me a number. You know what I'm saying?
I'll tell you what's enough. I know what enough is. Okay? Enough is, like, for me, I've kind of parted ways with the desire to attain, like, tchotchkes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, same.
There's one tchotchke that I want. I've mentioned it many times, right? Mm-hmm. But I know it's a pipe dream anyway.
Which is what?
I want to have a Testarossa, 1986, in white, with the illegal one. It was just the side view mirror.
Uh-huh.
It was like on top, and it was like just one big side view mirror. No mirror, no rear view mirror inside, no right side view mirror, just one big left side view mirror. That's the one that I want. It's not even legal, okay? I want that in mint condition, and also, it's not just enough to have that car. You got to have the budget to like maintain it and to fix it and to store it,
especially
and
today
to care
with
for it.
The prices for Sunoco Ultra 94.
You have to take a mortgage just to fill that car up to drive it for half an hour. Okay, so that's one thing, and also you got to have the clothing to wear, right? You got to get all like pastels and linen suits. You can't get in that. You can't get in that car without wearing a linen suit.
So basically, you want to be like Don. You want to be like Don Johnson. Is what you're saying.
Basically, that's where I'm going with this. In the end, you realize, wait a minute, I have to be Don Johnson. I can't become Don Johnson. Right? And then you got to get that not Jan Michael Vincent. What was his?
Philip Michael Thomas.
Philip Michael.
Dude, I don't remember what
to sit.
I was watching a movie with black people. I don't remember which movie it was, and this one of the characters goes, "Get your ass over here, you Philip Michael Thomas looking MFer."
By the way, that song that you were just kind of like lampooning.
Yeah, not lampooning. I'm singing it.
So
it's amazing.
Dear to me.
I love that song,
it's
man.
So
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I love that freaking song. The German guy, the producer.
It makes me cry.
Yeah, man.
Really, like,
same. Yeah, dude. It's the first song on my '80s mix that I made. Kidding me?
Dude, Philip Michael Thomas has a diesel beard right now.
Is he still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive.
He had
actually, well, yeah, he's still
you know
alive.
How many kids he has?
Actually, he's my dad's age. He's 72.
Oh wow! You know how many?
He was born. Dude, this is so creepy.
What?
He was born on May 26th.
Yeah.
1949. I was born on May 26th. And my dad was born in 1949. I have a connection to this man.
Philip Michael Thomas looking MFer?
Like my beard. I know, man. Take a look at Google him right now. You'll see a beard.
Dude, you know how many kids he has? He has like he's like a chassid. He has 11 kids with I think. Well, I don't know. I don't think it's one woman. I think it's a few women. Here, Thomas married Cassandra Thomas. They have 5 children together. In 1998, Thomas and Cassandra divorced. Thomas also has six other children from previous relationships. Interesting. We don't know who with whom.
Dude, this guy Easy E ain't got nothing on this guy.
I know. Easy. You mean in terms of getting around?
How does? Yeah, man. Like mad kids. Like how does he pay for them? Does he pay for them?
I mean, from royalties from Miami Vice.
Is that still paying from Miami Vice? Like,
yeah, man. They have it's still on like NBC. If you can go on the NBC website and stream Miami Vice, you could still do that. You know, so he's getting the.
So he had some music. He had a music album.
Oh yeah.
Living the Book of My Life.
Interesting.
Under his own record label called Spaceship Records.
Interesting.
It sold poorly.
Obviously.
It might have been good.
Yeah. Yeah, see, before Miami Vice, there was a couple of TV roles that he had. And then there's like 5 years, or 6 years. That's basically it. And after that, he really...
Thomas was reportedly paid $25,000.
It was in Nash Bridges also.
Right, So, okay, so Miami Vice, he was reported paid $25,000 per episode from seasons 1 to 2. Mm-hmm. And then in '86, he was given an increase from $50,000, which is by today's standards, $125,000, right, per episode, from seasons 3 to 5. That's actually huge money.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think only Friends got more than that.
Yeah.
Or like Raymond or something.
Dude, you know that Michael Mann was the executive producer of the original of that show? And he was the one, I think, that ended up directing the movie, if I'm not mistaken.
Stupid movie.
The remake? Was it? It wasn't that bad, actually. It wasn't that bad. It Wait, what?
It wasn't. It was just like It was something. It was. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not gonna. I mean, what are you doing? Like, stop it. Like,
yeah.
That Irish guy doesn't look like Don Johnson at all.
Yeah.
and then what's his name?
Yeah. Jamie Foxx. Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Dude, that movie barely, like, it just profited. The budget was $135 million for that movie.
Because it was massively depressing,
yeah.
But it didn't have style,
yeah,
and it didn't have soul.
It was too dark. It was
so dark.
Yeah. I don't know why they did it that way.
They completely devoid of the magic.
Yeah. Listen, it's not the 80s.
Dude, no Shekhinah. There was no Shekhinah.
Dude, did you see the picture of... I'll send it to you. You know what? Here, I'll send it to you. Of all... They went through all the Batman movies, or the Batman versions from, the 60s up until today, and you just see it like... The picture, like, it's getting darker and darker to the point where you can't... It's just completely dark and you don't see anything. It's just black. Like, you'll see Batman, and it's like he's behind a darker, silhouette, and then it's just darker and darker.
I think they're trying to make us go blind.
Yeah.
Not only with that, but with these damn LED light bulbs.
Yeah.
My eyes, like, so drastically deteriorated.
Yeah.
I don't know. Am I the only one? Like, I can't see with this light. Like, I need normal light.
You see the picture I sent you just now? Check. Look at that. The Batman. Also the previous picture.
I mean, the last little frame was a joke, right?
Yeah, no, it's obviously a joke, but it's just hilarious. you can barely see him in the 2022 one. You see like his face. There's
no reason to go any darker than 1989. Why would they go any darker?
I don't know.
Than 89?
I don't know. I can't see him.
1989 was so dark.
He just keeps.
It was as dark as you want it to be.
Yeah. You feel like you're like in ARC, vinyl, like Said and Palash Party or something. It's just it's ridiculous.
Dude, that was by far the best movie. That was like, it was Tim Burton, he had that creepy, weirdo, artistic vibe.
Yeah. I mean, I did like the Christian Bale one with Heath Ledger. I like that one. Where Christian Bale goes to learn karate from Liam Neeson.
From Qui-Gon Jinn.
I have a particular set of skills, but I'm Batman. I wanted. Remember the movie Blank Man with Wayans?
Yeah, man, with Wayans, right?
They should put it together with Batman and have him go, "I'm Blank Man."
Blank Man was a great movie.
It was a great movie.
I love that movie. I remember, like, on the scene, there was this one scene where they were on the train. I think this is Chicago.
Yeah, it's Chicago.
And wait, hold on. Was Blank Man with Charles Townsend?
It was like, it was Damon Wayans and David Allen Greer. It was like in the wake of the whole In Living Color.
No, because there was also this other kind of superhero comedy movie with this other funny black dude.
Robert Townsend, you're talking about?
Could it be Robert Townsend? It might be. He has like a mustache.
Yeah, Robert. Wait, hold on. Robert Townsend. I'll tell you in a second who was.
Dude, do you remember Leonard Six at Cosby? Is that before your time? Leonard Six.
Maybe, but Robert Townsend had a movie, Meteor Man.
Meteor Man, that's the one I'm talking about.
Oh my God, okay. What is this? I never saw this.
It's awesome.
This is ridiculous. This is absolutely.
There's a scene in Blank Man where he's on the train. This is before he assumes his superhero identity.
Yeah.
He plays a kind of like, sort of like a mentally challenged kind of guy.
Yeah.
And then so basically somebody was robbing this like lady on the train, and all the other guys were kind of like minding their own business.
Yeah.
And then, Damon Wayans couldn't take it anymore, so he grabbed the mugger, and he kind of like grabbed him and he kind of tossed him out of the train, and then the doors closed.
Yeah.
And you see the mugger standing there with like holding a knife, like looking angry. And then And then the old lady's like, "Thank you, son. The rest of y'all ain't shit."
It's hilarious. This is back in the era of like Def Comedy
I've
Jam.
seen stuff like that.
Oh my god.
I saw that on Avenue H.
Oh yeah. Well, like
But
something.
from like 3 cars.
Oh yeah. Dude, you know what happened in this? Do you know what happened in the city?
Leonard Six.
Leonard Six. You know what happened in the city? Some guy, they took away his MoMA, Museum of Modern Art membership, and he climbed over the counter and tried to stab people. What is this? Leonard Part 6. What is this? What is this?
I think this is the only one that ever came out.
This movie got a 2.2 out of 10.
Dude, they don't know what they're talking about. Leonard Six was off the hook. It was like a Black Inspector Gadget / like kind of like, I don't know, like superhero spy James Bond kind of dude. It was hilarious.
What is this? Produced by Bill Cosby. Story by Bill Cosby. He made
CIA spy turned restaurateur.
They spent $24 million. They made $4.5 million on this movie. What is this? Oh my God.
I don't know, but it looked awesome to me as a kid. And so did Howard. So did Howard the Duck.
Oh my God. Howard the Duck.
You remember that?
Didn't the character, the woman, have relations with Howard the Duck in the movie?
I don't think so. But now I don't know.
Or did you just ignore that part?
Leah. I was a kid. I wasn't focused on that. I was focused more on the monsters and stuff. Like
they had here Leah Thompson in bikini panties. Howard the Duck scene.
Right, but I don't know if they. I don't think they did it.
They didn't actually show the thing, but it was like basically.
Hold on, I'm just googling sex with a duck.
It even says Zoe Deutsch, that's I guess the daughter of the actress, watched her mom have stuff with Howard the Duck.
What?
Yeah. There you go. Oh, no, it says Howard the Duck almost gets laid. Like a scene.
Right, that's what I remember. Yeah. I remember him actually, like, Leah Thompson's PG-rated bestiality and incest.
Oh, my God.
Oh, yeah. Actually, if you think about it, right, Leah Thompson's PG-rated bestiality and incest scenes. She had an incest scene with Michael J. Fox, who was supposed to be her son.
Yeah.
And she... Not a good example for the kids. I never knew how evil she was.
Yeah.
It all makes sense now.
Yeah. Dude, you see this movie and like the way they made this movie and the way they made Ninja Turtles. They took the costumes. They put people in these costumes. And they put, they had them like robotic. You know how they made these movies, right? No, it's not CGI.
No,
it's
real
like
people, I know.
It's not CGI. It's like robotic. And you had the facial expressions of the characters.
That's what made
amazing.
That's what made Predator the best horror sci-fi movie ever.
Yeah.
The first Predator, the second Predator with Danny Glover.
Yeah.
It was also good.
Yeah.
But nothing like the first Predator. Nothing.
They don't even try to make it like this anymore. I don't know why. They're just going just for the CGI.
They're gonna go cheaper, and they're gonna make you like it. What was it? The judge from Caddyshack?
Yeah.
What was it? Hold on. The judge from Caddyshack.
Judge Smales?
He had this catchphrase. He had this... Hold on. Oh, I want to say quotes. 1 second. Oh, yeah. Judge Smales. Smales.
Yeah. Danny
Judge
boy.
Smales quote.
Danny boy.
Right. He goes, I sentenced boys younger than you to the gas chamber. Didn't want to do it. I felt I owed it to them. He's like, hold on. I want a hamburger. No, cheeseburger. I want a hot dog. I want a milkshake. I want potato chips. gets cut off by Judge Smalls, who grabs him by the arms and yanks him in there because you'll get nothing and like it.
Yeah.
That's what the movie producers
I want a hamburger.
Said to us. We'll get CGI and like it.
Yeah. Yep.
Guess what? We don't like it. Okay? You can't trick us. Some of us you cannot trick. Dude, can we? I'm just curious, and I want, what do we offer people on the show? Actual truth, right? Like, not.
Yeah.
We're not saying that we know the full truth. But
No.
At least you're getting what we really think.
Yeah.
Could be wrong.
The truth. That's what we mean by truth. We're just getting what we really.
So that's what I need from you right now. I want you to analyze my meme that I
Which
partially
one?
created.
Oh,
the like that comic book looking.
I think it's very. I think it's very good. You the one where you show.
I just want to see what you noticed about it, like, because I put a lot of work into it. I want to see if you could see everything.
Hold on. Let me get to the. You sent it on Messenger. Where the heck is it? Oh my God. Okay.
You can go on Getter too. It's
there
on
we go.
My page.
Oh. Yeah, here. There's a guy. It's like the comic book hero. Or villain. And he's getting kicked in the valuables by a lady. And on the lady, it says Russia, Eurasia Empire. And the brain is Alexander Dugin, which you can't really see unless you really look, because it's in white. You should never use white font.
Oh, you're looking on your phone, right?
No, but it's like, because you have the white background, and you're using
tried so
white,
many different colors. That's the only one where you could see it at all. Even
yellow you tried?
Yeah, yellow was so discombobulating that you wouldn't even want to look at it.
See, okay, so the guy is stepping on elderly and Ukrainian children, MAGA U.S. troops.
But he's not. No, they're about to get stepped on.
Yeah.
You see, the Ukrainian children and the elderly, they're already under the heel.
Yeah.
But next up is MAGA and the U.S.
Yeah,
troops,
so you have like Azov. They're using the Azov, and they have Shmab, Shmorum, and then mainstream media, NATO, and then I see her shoe, the one that's kicking him in the place, is disposable Russian boys. Yeah.
Disposable Russian boys.
Disposable Russian boys. Russia.
And where's she kicking them?
In the gonads. In the Ukrainian puppet. In the Ukraine, basically.
Ukrainian puppet. World Economic Forum puppet.
And you get CCP, evil. Both are evil.
Yes.
So.
And look, and if you see her other shoe, there's also she's stepping on something.
Oh, Ukrainian children also, yeah. So they're both stepping on Ukrainian children.
Yeah.
Ay vey. That's why I keep telling people that they don't really understand. They don't understand. It's a shame. It's really a shame. But listen, again, it goes back to, you're right. You're right, and I'm right, but if you ask Rabbi Kessin, Hashem is doing what he's doing. There's a gzeira on Ukraine for all the stuff that they did, which I think is true. I think there is, unfortunately.
I mean, these gezeiras don't make any sense, though. Like, how come the worst people don't suffer in these gezeiras? That's what that doesn't.
You don't make any sense. You don't know that. I mean, they might be. Get off the phone, Ching Chang Chong.
You hear something?
Yeah, I heard something.
I hear kind of like a minor static in the background, but it's not.
Yeah. He got off. He left.
So I need an honest critique. Like, if you saw this and it wasn't me, how would you, what would you say? It sucks. It's good.
Yeah, I would say that it's good. The only thing is, I visually, there's certain things that are hard to read or see just because it's very small. So I would try to figure out a way how to make it bigger.
I tried so many things. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah. I like the Democrats and neocons thing. It's kind of cool. NATO, CIA.
You see the CIA, right?
Yeah.
Social media.
Yeah.
And what leg is it on?
It's on the left.
Yeah. The left leg is moving forward, which is the opposite.
Yeah.
Of what it's supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
And Russia is kicking with the right leg.
Yeah.
That's more correct.
Yeah. It's like what Rabbi Kazan said, the zchut. Putin has the zchut because he has at least some sort of semblance of morality in a certain way.
Right. Yeah. And the only reason I think that America is still around is because you see the right leg, it's not only that MAGA and the US troops are about to get stepped on, they're also holding back the right foot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then China's all the way on top, looking on, hoping that everybody gets weakened so they can just swoop in.
Dude, so you're saying that now. You know what's going on in China right now? And I really hope that they don't let this in. China's having a huge surge in cases.
Of what?
Of COVID, Schmovid. I don't know what. Here, meanwhile in China, all hell is breaking. This is from Zero Hedge. Here it says, China's on the brink of biggest Schmovid crisis since Wuhan as cases surge. China is scrambling to address its most severe outbreak in 2 years. Man, I hope this doesn't turn into something. Oh, God, so annoying. Reporting soaring cases in fresh wave that has seen the country tweak its zero COVID policy by allowing rapid antigen tests for public use. After topping 1,000 for 2 days in a row, new locally transmitted cases surged to more than 3,100, this time driven by a spike in symptomatic infections. The National Health Commission reported on Sunday. It came as 16 provinces reported new Shmorona infections, as did the 4 megacities of Beijing, Tianjin, Shanghai, and Chongqing. Yeah, by the way, they had China's government has shut down the city of Shenzhen, a city of about 17.5 million people, known as China's Silicon Valley, and is restricting access to Shanghai by suspending bus services. It's crazy. He says, Foxconn suspends output at China headquarters, iPhone site in Shenzhen. That's so crazy. He says, one of the world's busiest container posts is now locked down. Expect a fresh round of cascading chaos in trans-Pacific supply chains, just in time to join the snarled transatlantic supply chains as the Ukraine war cripples all global seaborne. Oh man, I have a ship at sea right now with wine. Hopefully it'll get there before this crap begins. These Chinese stocks are crashing. The market is very panicky. Paul Pang at Pegasus Fund Managers, who has sold almost all his stake in Alibaba Group. He said, sanctions are against China, are not impossible. If China refuses to take sides on the war in Ukraine, tech shares are among those risky names exposed in the crossfires and the rising Sino-US tensions. Yeah, but why would Biden sanction his own friends? He wouldn't do that, would he?
I mean, unless they're planning something,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Chinese bonds are crashing. Oh my God. Chinese property sector is still crashing.
The only thing that they can kind of well, maybe not the only thing. One of the things they can get away with, that they're not going to get too much, they're not going to get worked up about, or they don't have to put too much effort into hiding, is buying oil from Iran.
Yeah.
The whole reason why they shut down the U.S. Supply is because they want to buy oil from Iran to fund Iran so that Iran can annihilate Israel.
Yeah.
That's why this is all happening. Okay, I knew it was coming to this. I knew it was. I didn't want to give voice to it. I didn't want to give it a Kaylee.
Yeah.
But the Biden-Obama entity is a creature that's its sole purpose. People don't understand that's what its goal is. It wants to wipe Israel away.
For sure.
And
For sure.
and no one, and they know that all they have to do is come up with the lamest possible excuse. Oh, the environment.
Yeah.
And that's enough for people not to question it too much.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what's happening. So we never finished talking about Rabbi Kessin. We never got to the good stuff.
Oh yeah, so
the alien stuff.
So yeah, so it looks like he's. I mean, as we tried to prod him a little bit on the whole UFO thing, he wasn't so. He didn't seem too open to.
But it feels like he assumed that we thought something specific about what UFOs and aliens are. You know what I mean?
We could.
Like first of all,
we kind of do, no?
What do you mean?
No, I'm saying you keep mentioning that it's the Malachim, no?
Right. So I'm not focusing on that. He spent a lot of time talking about how, there's no possible way that there's a planet out there that could also support life. I completely disagree with him on that.
Yeah, I also disagree.
And also there are Rabbanim, like Rabbi Pinchas Horowitz, the famous, I think he wrote Shnei Luchot HaBrit, or Sefer HaBrit. And there's a lot. I mean, we read that Ari Kaplan essay where he discusses all these rabbis that wrote about it, extraterrestrial life or life on other planets. And he did say something which is interesting, Rabbi Kessin. He said that if there is something out there, right, then it doesn't have free will. So what would be the point of it, right? So what is free will? Actually, he didn't say what would be the point of it. He said the thing about the free will. I'm remembering that correctly, right? Do you remember him saying that?
Say it again.
He mentioned that they wouldn't have free will.
Yeah, but he said some of them. He said some of them do.
No. He said that about the angels.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to review.
Yeah.
I'm going to review what he said. I'm going to find that moment because I'm not sure I want to continue talking about that exact little point unless I'm 100% sure that he said what he said, because I've read other stuff and I've heard other statements since then, and I don't want to be making a mistake. Yeah. But the point is like this. He did mention that certain malachim, when they come and they interact with us or in this world, they take a form. So fine, they can discard it, but they do inhabit a form from time to time, right?
Yeah.
So he didn't. So anything that we talked about, even though it sounded like he discounted a lot of it, he really allowed for a lot of it to be plausible, even in according to his view.
Yeah.
I noticed that's how these guys do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what else I'm noticing? I'm noticing that Greg is about to fall asleep.
I'm not asleep at all. No, I'm not sleeping at all, actually.
You're about to be.
I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm mamash not, actually. I just
either Greg is falling asleep or he's looking at his Twitter.
Not Twitter. It's very sad because. I apologize. Whatever. You know that idiot Justin Bieber?
I am familiar with him.
He's married to Alec Baldwin's daughter.
Oh man.
He's like a model. And Alec Baldwin's daughter, it turns out, had a blood.
Kim Basinger's daughter?
No, I don't know. Whatever. It turns out she what is it called? She had a blood clot at lunch. They're having lunch and she got a blood clot. She was hospitalized. I wonder what it's from,
Yeah.
It's just
young person having a blood clot.
And somebody wrote, why is it okay to ask a person their vaccination status in order for them to get a coffee, but when they had a heart attack, it's not okay to ask them if they've been vaccinated. It's funny how it works that way.
Yeah.
She says, it's funny how people can ask if you've been vaccinated to buy a coffee, but how dare you ask if someone is vaccinated when they have a heart attack and drop dead? It's just...
She's alive, right?
Well, supposedly she's alive. Here, Haley Bieber. Let's see. Yeah, she was Haley Baldwin before. Haley Bieber, let's see. Yeah, Haley Bieber released... Sorry. Oh my god. The heck? What just happened?
Dude, is Animal Mother related to the other Baldwins?
I have no idea. Who's Animal Mother? Here, released from hospital after doctors find blood clot on her brain. Oh my god.
God,
definitely one of the scariest moments I've been through. It's just nuts, man. It's nuts. She's a 25-year-old girl. Nuts.
Dude, Bieber's like almost 30. That's crazy, right?
Yeah, right? We remember him as like well, he still is a kind of a...
How old is Bieber?
Actually, no, he's not old. He's like 27, maybe? Here. Hold on. Oh.
Adam Baldwin. Hold on, I gotta check it. Because you shocked me that other time with Randy Quaid and Dennis Quaid.
Yeah.
I want to find out if Animal Mother is part of the Baldwin brothers.
Justin Bieber is 28 years old. 28. Animal Mother. This guy, Adam Baldwin. Yeah, plays Animal Mother. Yeah. Is he?
For the folks at home, Animal Mother was the name of his character in Full Metal Jacket, a Vietnam War movie, starring Matthew Modine and
Adam Baldwin is he related to these people? It looks like no. It looks like no. Hold on.
Okay, that actually makes me feel better about him.
Yeah.
Even though Steven is the normal Baldwin, right?
Yeah, Steven is the one that the conservative.
Steven is normal. Then you had two of them just disappeared flatly, right? They had one that was kind of chubby.
Yeah.
And then you had the one in
Sliver, the movie Sliver.
Sliver, yeah. Sliver. Oh, and he was also in this movie where he played like a male prostitute.
Yeah, it's
these 90s movies.
Yeah. So it's basically.
I remember that only because of Sherilyn Fenn.
Here you have. Yeah. There's actually 6 of them, but so you have Billy Baldwin.
There's 6 of them.
Yes. There's Billy Baldwin. These are the actors: Billy Baldwin, and then Stephen, Alec, and Daniel.
Billy Baldwin, Stephen, Alec.
Billy was the one.
Alec
Alec is the one that's.
No, Billy was the one in Sliver.
In the 80s, all the 80s movies, yeah.
Okay, so hold on. Stephen, it said Daniel, right?
Not the. Daniel and Daniel Baldwin, yeah.
Daniel was the chubby one.
Yeah.
He was in. Daniel was the bad guy in Harley Davidson and the Marlboro Man.
Interesting.
With Don Johnson and Mickey Rourke.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whenever I would see like some of these like 90s action movies, I feel like dirty. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it makes me feel icky inside. There's like a dirty, dark grit about it. It's like
yeah.
Not good.
So Billy Baldwin,
even like a Kevin Costner, movie.
Yeah.
Something about it.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
No. This guy.
I think who did it? I think it was like what's his name? Who made us feel that way? Who's the guy? Was it Bruckheimer? Yeah, I think Bruckheimer's one of those guys.
This guy is an idiot. He's writing to me. what did he write? Some Muhammad guy on Rabbi Kessin's page. You don't need to agree with me because you're religious oriented, but those books you guys reading are not the Bible but rabbinic imagination. The Bible is from Mount Sinai, Africa, and Moses, neither Aaron, are not Europeans. Good to learn your history, not just religious dogma.
Can I make a comment? Where did he write that?
On Rabbi Kessin's the comment on our interview.
On YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh man.
It's just ridiculous. I'm gonna write to him. Do you have any idea how Jews ended up in Europe in the first place?
No, don't even bother. Just berate him.
I'd like to hear your knowledge of history.
What is it? What's the guy's name? He's all the way on the bottom or something?
Mohammed Samura.
Oh, there he is.
Huh.
You need to get back on your meds. You have a plan?
See, you have like no rachamim for people.
Fuck them. You need to, no, because sometimes, I've had enough. Like, I have like a solid 25 years of arguing with these scumbags. You need to get back on your meds and get your head out of your ass.
Yeah. You realize it's just going to make him think that he's right.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it will.
You are delusional. I'm telling him the truth, so he's going to understand that. It's going to make him angry. He's going to lash out and say crap, but he's going to understand this. Okay?
No, he won't. He thinks he's right. He literally thinks he's right.
Well, he's going to know that he's not right. You are sad. You need to borrow or steal an impressive. What's the word I'm looking for? Like,
what?
Someone wants to. They want to create like a majestic history about themselves. But it's not majestic. It's like some kind of. I'm going to use it majestic.
Anthology? No.
Well, yeah. You don't like your background. Your background. So you have to steal. So you decide to steal. To steal someone else's identity.
I'm sorry I pulled you into this. I apologize. I knew this would happen.
I think this is important.
So it looks like this guy is from Africa.
I don't care.
Nigeria or something like that.
Learn your true history. There is probably what to be proud of. What to be proud of. Okay, if you take the time to study. Okay. You might surprise yourself. Stop being fake. Stop stealing identities, which is something that seems to happen a lot in Africa.
See, this guy wrote complete fantasy.
The Nigerian prince story.
See, this guy actually asked the question: complete fantasy for temple to descend from heaven to a bunch of idol worshippers and religious dreamers. The question is, Which rabbi is holy enough to serve in such a temple? These guys that call themselves rabbi and nothing but con artists. I mean, that's at least something resembling a interesting point.
Well, we have rabbis who are fit to serve, okay? Because we have encountered a lot of rabbis who are not up to snuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We've seen that. That doesn't mean that we don't have those that are.
Yeah.
Okay? Every generation has that.
Yeah.
Every generation has a minimum of 36. We've spoken about that.
Yeah.
Okay? I personally think it's probably much more. But, in the worst of all cases, we have at least 36.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's probably what to be proud of. If you take the time to study, you might surprise yourself. Stop stealing identities. It is sad.
Yeah, sometimes when I was posting these Rabbi Kessin ones, I turned off comments because I get a lot of these kind of weirdos on his videos, Dafka. He even told me once over the phone. He told me, I asked him why did he turn the comments off on his Torah thinking ones, and he goes to me, he's like, I get a lot of Christian proselytizers.
Actually, you know what?
I get a lot of these messianics.
I just realized because this is Rabbi Kessin.
Yeah.
Because as you're saying what you're saying.
Yeah.
Occurs to me, he might prefer that the comments be off on this.
So maybe I'll turn them off. I think I will. I'm just gonna turn them off.
Just this one episode for him because I noticed he doesn't like it. Because he might look at it.
He doesn't look at internet, dude. I'm telling you, he doesn't.
He might ask someone.
Yeah, somebody will give him a report and they'll say like, "Oh, there's
because how would he know about the comments?"
Yeah,
right?
There's this whole zach going on his thing. So you know what? So I'm gonna do that right now. I'm just gonna turn off the comment section here.
I'm so upset that this guy is not going to see the comment that I just sent for him.
You know what? Let's wait and let him see it, and then we'll turn it off. And then we'll go, and then we'll disappear into the night like, I'm Batman. I'm Batman.
Nah, you know what? Let's just, whatever.
I'm gonna turn the comments off.
Just turn it off.
No, it's ridiculous. It's whatever. Here, where is this thing? View. Oh. Edit.
In the merit of me not having the satisfaction of sticking it to that guy, may something good happen in the world.
Yes. Disable comments. Okay. Oops. But how do I?
Jews, one thing that Jews don't understand is you have to fight your enemies and you have to kill them.
Yeah.
You have to kill them in arguments. You have to kill them. You can't, because all you're doing is making them comfortable and used to beating on you.
Yeah.
Okay? They have to be filled with terror.
Yeah. That's true.
But, but the right way. Not like hiring someone else.
Yeah.
Do it yourself.
Or not even like, being this kind of, not doing it in their way, Doing it in
I'm not saying you got to go, you got to take an axe to the head.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that, like, whatever, as a but fight back.
Yeah,
fight,
for sure.
don't.
For sure.
Anyway.
For sure.
So what haven't we spoken about? What did we...
We covered a lot. No, so... Rabbi Kessin, we were saying about the whole UFO thing. We tried to get into it with him. And you were saying how... What?
Just on a side note, remember I showed you that video of that Hasidic rabbi who was talking about it?
Yes.
As if like it was a fact?
Yes.
So that's actually pretty cool. Like that guy, he's a prison chaplain. Right? That's why he sounds. That's why he sounds not like a Hasidic person, but like a American person wearing Hasidic garb. Yeah, I mean, I think that he's
about tshuva. This guy.
I'm not sure where he comes from. I'm not gonna say he's about tshuva, but he might be from maybe like a Litvish family, more Americanized, and then became.
I was gonna say.
I guess he went to.
He doesn't have this accent. He doesn't talk like he works in an Amazon basement, you know?
No, he went to college. He speaks
yeah.
he speaks pretty well.
Yeah.
And he seems to understand history very well.
Yeah.
And he's the one that actually, remember I told you that I heard from a rabbi. I got very upset with the whole 6,000 year thing.
Yeah.
I heard that from him, actually.
Wow.
When I heard that from him, I was like, unfollow, for like 10 seconds, and I'm like, what am I doing?
I thought it was Rav Shach that was the Rav that said, because I know Rav Shach said, I don't care. It's something like, I don't care if it's 7,000 years. I'll be whatever, you know. Still.
Rav Shach said that. Can you find me that?
Something
quote?
along those lines. I heard. I don't know the source. I just I heard somebody say it, and you know.
Do you have anybody to ask? I don't even have anybody to ask.
You know what? Here. Let's do Rav Shach. Here. Let's do. Here.
Illustrious. That's the word I was looking for. Illustrious past.
Yeah. That's funny. Whatever. It doesn't matter anymore. He's going to be like, oh, those Jews, they always hide when they're challenged. He's going to look at the comment section, yeah?
That boils my blood so badly.
That's what I'm saying.
Maybe he'll listen. Maybe he'll hear the next episode.
Yeah, maybe. Here.
That'll be seared onto his brain forever.
Let's do Rav Shach Mashiach. Okay. Elazar Shach. He was a big Talmid Chacham. I mean, like Rav Shach.
Yeah. Nobody's saying anything.
This is a big person. No, I'm saying like wasn't he like he was Lubavitch? He was in Lubavitch's Shiva and then he left.
I never heard that. That's the first time I ever heard. That's
the not rumor, but that's the story with him. Here. 1 second. Elazar Shach.
I really hate this world. I really do.
Why?
I'm not going to say. I have to stop going on Facebook.
Yeah.
It just reminds me that this world sucks and it's not beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It
just has people who ruin it. And no, it's physically beautiful, but there's people who ruin it with their ideas, you know?
It's not physically beautiful either. It's not.
No, there's some parts.
Because things deteriorate and they're vulnerable, they fall apart, and little innocent things are the most vulnerable of all. The cutest, sweetest little innocent things that need to be protected get treated the worst, and I'm not really into it. It makes me not even care about the Testarossa. Like, I seriously, forget about I'm serious. Forget about pastel suits. Forget about 80s music. Forget about all that. Forget about Sherilyn Fenn. Okay? Forget that. Okay? Forget about Rebecca De Mornay, in 1984. Forget that.
Yeah.
Am I revealing too much here?
Yes.
Whatever. You guys don't know. You guys just don't know.
Here. Let's do Rav Shach. I'm just looking at like his positions on. Hey, somebody said that something like. Somebody said that he said that. Yeshiva World. Somebody wrote a comment, something along the lines of. Okay. Rav Shach, who received his Das Torah from the Hazon Ish, the Brisker Rav Isser Zalman Meltzer, and Acharon Kotler, so clearly the Chabad Lubavitch was heading. Okay, so now this is like a whole Ante Lubavitch rant. Ay, Boże mój. Okay, we're not going to go down that road.
No.
Let's put it that way.
The only reason I'm even curious about this is because Rav Shach, he was a big Rav.
Yeah.
He obviously knew a tremendous amount of Torah.
Yeah.
And if I had no respect for him, I wouldn't care what he had to say.
Yeah.
Not a fan, honestly, but
yeah,
it's
not we're not a fan of the hashkafa. He has a hashkafa. We're not a fan of it.
Nope.
We have to avoid to make it personal. You know. We have to avoid the personal because right now there's people who want to kill. This is something I've been telling people way from the beginning. I said there's people who want to kill all of us. They don't care that you think this guy's Mashiach, and they don't care that this guy thinks that Zionism is this. They don't care that this guy thinks that these guys are that. They don't care. They'll put us all on a train, if they could, with axes and Cossacks and this.
You know what pisses me off, though? I'll say one thing. The guy that I think is Mashiach, the Rebbe, right? He's the kind of guy that if somebody told him, like God said, or some Malach came and said, "Oh, that guy's Mashiach, not you." Okay, all right, good. Let's go. Come on.
I know. Listen, you know where I hold on this. I say he could have been. I say I don't know. And that's it. That's what I say. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not. I don't presume to know. I don't know. That's it. I really.
This is not the chai comms. This is me rummaging in the.
I know.
In the fridge right now.
Stop looking for food, Ching Chang Chong.
It's me.
Okay.
Slam my head.
I don't know. I can't find the source now. Whatever. Somebody told me. Somebody who's like really into the whole Rav Shach thing. Told me that they're like, yeah, Rav Shach said that, you know, if the world goes to 7,000, he'll be sitting there waiting for whatever. You know, being in Gullus. Listen, it's a Gullus mentality. It's just a mentality.
What disturbs me so much about it, because it seems like a big faith gesture, right?
It's not.
But in reality, it seems like the opposite. It feels like they don't believe that God is going to do it.
Yeah.
You understand? That way, if they say, I'm going to wait till the year 10,000, right? Yeah. That means they never have to expect what they're supposed to expect.
It's almost like they're just comfortable in the way that the world is, or they think that, no, you know what they do think? That God is going to fix it.
Them, so they take the pressure off themselves and God.
No, it's like they think that God, a lot of them say that God put us here for us to do the tikkun, so to speak. You know, it's almost like, you know, that's where I deviate from. Well, a lot of people deviate from Rabbi Kessin, that Moshiach ben Yosef, for example, can be all of us, you know, as an entity put together, fixing the world. That could be Moshiach ben Yosef.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah.
But even the people who say that also say Mashiach can be a guy too.
Yeah, I know. No, I'm just saying in general. Like it's just that's what, like, some of these people, they think that it's just only up to us, and it's not going to be a man who actually comes and just like fixes everything in a second. You know, and it's almost like it goes back to that whole thing of, you know, the schmucks that say, oh, I hope Mashiach doesn't come because I want to, like, build my business or actualize my thing.
That's crazy.
You moron. The thing is, some people say that when Mashiach comes, nothing is fundamentally, in terms of like us having to work and stuff like that, or us having our, so to speak, vocations, it's not really going to change. The only difference is going to be we're going to see the intrinsic spiritual purpose or intrinsic purpose behind what we're doing, as opposed to, you know, some people don't see a purpose in sitting in a cubicle and whatever, you know.
I actually heard the opposite.
Okay.
But we're gonna have to touch upon that. Let's start on that the next time we talk. Like, I'll remember.
Yeah.
The subject matter, because it should be addressed, but I have to pee so bad that it's just not possible to give this the respect it deserves, the time it deserves.
So we could pause. I mean, we can pause it.
And also, I'm going to have to fill you with dread as well, because I feel like we should continue the letters.
Oh, man.
But I'm trying to, like, people listening to this, they're like, Greg, can you just give him a chance? There has not been, all he asked you was one time.
Okay,
try to participate. Wait. No, just listen and then just like pay attention and react, right?
Yeah.
And, like, don't zone out and you have not given me a chance.
Okay, I'm telling you what we're gonna do. Here's what we're gonna do. Right now, we are at the 2 hour and 20-minute mark. We've spoken a lot about a lot of different topics tonight. We should just end this episode here.
That's what I said.
Yeah, no. And the next episode is episode 60. Number 60. And number 60 we'll do the topic that you just said there's a topic we can talk about. And we will do, and then we'll do Dalid. Dalid?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
I remember what you said. You want to do more Robert Ginsburg stuff. We can do that.
Let's do Robert Ginsburg stuff. Yeah, on Dalid. So I wanted to ask you though, but why do you think? I just want to close off with this Jason Bateman guy. Why do you think that he avoided the fate of these kids?
Maybe his parents. Maybe he had good parents.
Yeah.
Maybe he had his sister protected him. Maybe she knew.
Yeah.
What? Maybe he's just a good boy.
Yeah.
Or maybe not. Maybe we don't really know anything.
Well,
right?
it doesn't matter, good boy or not. You see what happens because it's not about them. Sometimes it's about what.
No, what I mean is like sometimes
what other people do to them.
Sometimes but come on, we know kids. Yeah. I'm not saying I'm one of them, probably not, who had like they had like a sense, they wanted to like stay away from like bad stuff, just kind of naturally that way,
Yeah.
They kind of just tried to keep it safe. The parents cared enough about them to keep them out of harm's way.
Yeah.
They didn't pimp out their kids.
Yeah, like Macaulay Culkin's dad.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like a lot of the kids whom this kind of stuff happened to, they were basically pimped out.
Yeah.
By their parents. So.
Yeah. Anyway, I hear. Yeah, that could be it. But anyway. All right, sir. Next stop is 60. What's 60 in terms of gematria? Was anything interesting? The number 60.
Sure, I'll find it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have that book. Did you check in the book?
I don't have it here. It's at my parents'.
I'll find it.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Yeah.
We'll discuss it.
Yep. And
it'll be grand.
Grand, and then we'll somehow connect it all to Purim.
Yes. Purim is Wednesday, right?
Wednesday night, yeah. And then you have Thursday night is Shushan Purim. So if you're in Yerushalayim, that's your Purim. But
nice.
I'm going to a local Chabad here in the holy city of Newark. And there's a lot of it's interesting. It should be interesting.
I'm holding up hope that our friend Muhammad hears this and knows what I wanted him to know.
Exactly. That we're not running from you, Muhammad. We don't run from the armies of the. What is it? Khaybar, yeah, Yahud. No. The armies of Muhammad will return. We're not running from the armies of Muhammad.
Nope.
It's like that movie. What's that movie with McLovin? He's like, Muhammad. Why would you who names? He's like, Muhammad is a very popular name. He's like, who names a kid McLovin? He's like, I don't know, Muhammad.
McLovin.
Oh my God.
That kid looks so Jewish. But on that note,
yeah. Kind of like Larry
You could
Fink
have
of
taken him
Black
right out of
Rock, right?
yeshiva. That kid looks like he came out like you could have just like torn him right out of yeshiva.
Yes, out
He was sitting in Seder. They took off his hat.
Yeah.
They put him, you know.
Hey, you
whatever.
want to play a geek? Sure. Maybe McLovin, you know, the stuff that you don't get here in yeshiva. It's like, here's where the magic doesn't happen. You know, you go to his dorm room.
I mean,
here's where the magic doesn't happen.
Yeah. No, but the Torah learning in itself is unsurpassed kind of magic. If they take advantage of it, then it's worth it.
Oh God, what was I gonna say? Whatever. I don't know. It must not have mattered.
So I gotta go. I gotta go meet Larry at the Regal Beagle.
All right, sir. Tell Mr. Furley I said, you know.
That's a euphemism for going to the bathroom. All right.
Yes. All right, sir. I'll talk to you.
All right, man.
All right.